All right. So, Mark, we are here together and talking about financial planning. How's it going today?
Pretty good. I'm sure glad it's Friday.
Well, Fridays doesn't mean anything to you until after tax season, right? So that that's
That's right. And for some of my clients like yourself in real estate, Friday is Monday.
got it. All right. Well, let's just get straight to it. Because we talk a lot about finances and strategy, and you help a lot of people in different fields. So I'm in real estate. Val's a police officer, and just everybody has a different field, and everybody has a different way of looking at their finances or financial planning. So what would you say, like what do you notice different these days that would be helpful for people to know?
Well, as we're living longer and as people are starting to talk to older family members about money, it's becoming a little more of a conversation at the family Zoom meetings, if you will, about how is Aunt Mildred doing, and how is she paying for her care, and people are. It was kind of like quiet about money for a long time at the family dinner table, and then people stopped eating dinner together on Sundays like they used to, and now it seems like people are kind of coming back around, and it is something to think about. Like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. If you're going to start drawing money from your resources, how much money can it deliver? You got a fourplex, is it going to pay you well? Or you got a piece of vacant land that you forgot to build a house on, that doesn't pay you any money at all. So thinking about how you're going to derive income from these investments, whatever they are, 401ks, IRAs, Roths, life insurance, real estate, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever. How do you get the money out of there? And then as you're doing that, what is the tax that you're paying? Because by the time you're 60 or 65 or 70 or even worse, 72, there's not much moving things around. If you're going to move things around, you got to do it as young as possible to position yourself for lower taxes in the future. Deducting is not always the best idea for all of your money when you're younger.
For sure. So yeah, you just recently helped. We talk about how to. For myself, I'm a real estate agent, and I haven't completely saved, and I don't really have a retirement. And if I do have a retirement, it's because I just started it. Really, like I started it a few years ago, but really wasn't putting a lot in, and so it wasn't going to be enough to where it could sustain my retirement. So we started talking about how to do that. And yeah, I love to invest in real estate and doing so. It's but like you said, you have to have different buckets, because real estate is great, but you also want to make sure that you have other means put elsewhere. So that was super helpful, having that conversation. And I think, like you said, a lot of people don't talk about money, but I love talking about money with my people. I'm always like checking in and saying, okay, what's going on? Where's your money at? What are you doing? What's your strategy? Because there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's great to have these questions. There's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions on a regular basis, and I think these are great things. And maybe one person has a strategy that they could share with someone else to help them. But we recently also talked about, folks that have that are part of like city workers, or you know, um, you had a different strategy that you had shared with Val the other day, which was pretty cool, and which she's pretty savvy when it comes to finances. But um, you had some tips and some things that was pretty helpful on what to do with some moving money around.
Yeah, it's part of that beginning with the end in mind. If you think about the 2021 tax year and that's your focus, you could do some things that are really exciting, cool, and sexy for this year. However, if we look at what that activity does, like putting away a large amount of money in a 457 plan when you're already going to get a pretty good pension, especially if you're a safety worker, the taxes on that money later on in life could put you in very often a higher tax bracket than you are in right now. So why not pay tax on that money now and locate that money in a place that's tax free for the rest of your life? And if you don't get a chance to use it and you die too soon, your kids or other beneficiaries receive it without any tax due for the rest of their life. I mean, that's pretty powerful when you think about it. So we have to, like Stephen Covey says on Monday mornings, we got to have first things first. We got to begin with the end in mind, and it doesn't have to go all the way to the end of your life. But let's think about at least where the money would be ideally located for withdrawal. Some people are doing really great with cryptocurrency. There are people that do really good with real estate investments. And I was on the phone with a family that has done unusually well with cryptocurrency, and they've been in it long enough to realize that the ups and downs are serious. And right now, they feel like it's kind of up, and they want to take off part of that profit that they made and put it in something that's kind of boring. In their opinion, that's the stock market and the real estate market. They consider that boring compared to cryptocurrency.
So
And I said,
exciting in a different way. Yeah.
yeah, I said, well, let's find you a little duplex or fourplex somewhere to buy for your income property and helps out with your taxes. And let's find a little IRA or 401k or something and put that money in there and allow it to be permanently tax free for the rest of your life. In their situation, I figured out a way for them to put away $52,000 into the Roth environment, if you will, and that would be tax free for the rest of their life. They can't buy crypto in those accounts yet. I think I heard it's coming, like a mutual fund or an
Oh,
ETF or something. But why would they like triple down on crypto again? They probably should start moving away from that a little bit, just to be ready. And I've been involved in real estate to some degree since 1990. I've seen a few ups and a few downs. And I just hope that when things are down, I have enough money to move money into that area.
right. We had that conversation. So, so for the folks that do have some money to set aside and wait it out till the bottom hits again. I mean, who knows when that's going to happen, but at
I
least
know.
when it does, sometimes there are little dips. I mean, there was a dip last March and April when everybody was freaking out about COVID. People were canceling their contracts and they were just sellers were freaked out because they didn't know what was happening, so they were selling at a discount. So the people who took advantage of that moment did really really well, and they had an upside. So there's always going to be dips. I mean, November, December were still even a slower time. November, January hit, everybody's out on the market, so you're going to have your different places. But like you said, have some money set aside and be ready to. But what's cool about you is you understand investments, but you also understand the real estate aspect. And a lot of times when I've talked to financial planners in the past, they really just focus on accounts, but they really look at the bigger picture of just asset and wealth distribution. So I just think that's
Well,
great.
unfortunately, a lot of financial planners have only used mutual funds or stocks for themselves. They're comfortable with that. They're watching it daily. They like that kind of activity. And I come from a pretty diverse family where we've been able to have our money in different businesses and bring in money from lots of different sources. And I've learned, on our farm, we only had dairy cows. And I tell you, that is only one source of revenue, that milk. I mean, at least it's, kind of fixed by the government, and you don't see volatile prices with milk. But with beef, you do. We had some neighbors, they raised beef, and beef prices, if they go down, they would not take their beef to the slaughterhouse that month, and they might wait another month until prices would go up a little bit. But eventually, the beef, they get too old, and the beef quality is not that good, and
Ooh,
that
you're
sort of thing. So
vegetarian now.
yeah, I was raised vegan myself, so I
Oh,
know where you are. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm comfortable with real estate because I was in real estate early in my life and my family. My mom was an appraiser, my uncle a general contractor and a broker. And when you look at people that are really successful, they've usually become successful by having concentrations in certain areas. You see people that made their money with real estate. Bezos made his money with Amazon. People make their money by these concentrated risk. But when they make it, they usually start diversifying into other areas because they can lose it sometimes faster than they can make it, right? You're not often a millionaire overnight, but you certainly can be broke pretty quickly.
Absolutely. So you had mentioned crypto because there's a lot of people in the crypto space. So what do you say, or what's new, or something that's super helpful for the folks that have invested in crypto and have done well?
Yeah, at this time, it's really a gambling situation. There's not much regulation there. There's not a lot of protections put in place for consumers, and as volatile as the stock market is, at least there's regulations and there's protections that are put there. But I think about crypto as a place where I might put my cigarette money or something like that. And I got into the crypto back probably about 2 years ago. I think I paid $3,600 per Bitcoin, and now it's around 50,000.
Ooh,
Well,
yeah.
that's what it was going for, and so I bought some, and I'm a collector, so I own one of every Bitcoin that they have on Coinbase. I have never sold any Bitcoin, and now what is it? PayPal. I think PayPal has Bitcoin, so they have four over there. So I put a little money in the four Bitcoins that PayPal has for the heck of it, and it's interesting to watch and people talk about it, and it could be an investment strategy. We're not allowed to recommend it because there's no regulation there,
Right.
and millions and millions of dollars are lost and made every day in crypto. And if you've got the stomach for it, why not?
Yeah, well, it is pretty intriguing. I see quite a few people in my circle that have done really well with crypto. So I
Yeah.
just say more power to you. Do what you need to do to just come up. So the biggest thing is start somewhere. So the folks that haven't started, what would you say? Because there's a lot of people that are starting all over, a lot of people that have had a pretty rough couple years or year and a half. So what would you say for someone that is just starting over again, or hasn't really started any financial planning? Like, what would be the first step, and what would be the process that you'd recommend?
Well, I like for people to kind of sit down and prepare themselves for what they want. It's so easy to change your habits and be motivated to do things you've never done before if you believe that doing that will get you where you need to go, right? So if people don't know what they want, I'm like, well, what can I do for you? I mean, if you don't know what you want, how can I help you do anything? So I really want people to sit down and figure out what do they want, how much money do they think they need, or what does security mean to them? I hear from some of the wealthiest people I've ever met. I hear from them, I don't want to live under a bridge. And I'm like, come on, you got 20 million bucks. How is that possible? That's a real thing for them. Security, right? Having that security. And then I have them write down on the other side of that piece of paper, what do they want to avoid? What do they want to not happen, right? And then from there, we try to figure out where their resources are right now. Where's their money, their stock, their real estate, their net worth? It
Mm,
could be zero. One of the most challenging families I ever had, they were negative about 3 million when they came in to see me, and we worked through bankruptcy and reorganization and started moving money in the right places, and they were able to eventually move out of that and do some liquidations, and they have a positive net worth now. And they learned a really valuable lesson that those negative amortization interest only loans for properties in a declining market, you better have some other ways of hanging on
mm,
if you want to hang on. Otherwise, you're going to end up liquidating those properties. And I really wanted to try to help them keep them because real estate eventually does come back like everything else, and it's not necessarily about the value. In their case, it's really about the cash flow.
Right.
there really wasn't nearly enough cash flow to maintain the debt service. And I did an analysis and we thought, gosh, it's going to be like 14 years before you're going to break even here. Let's just invite the banks to come and pick up the house.
All right. So you do deal with people too that so for the most part when it comes to anybody, if someone was interested in just kind of starting somewhere, or maybe they're savvy investors, or maybe they do have plans with their companies, and if they just want to know if it's running right, if it's allocated in the right places, is that something someone could just say, "Hey, Mark, can you look at my setup and look at all my assets or lack of, and here's are my goals of, this is what I want to do." And um, are you open to people just coming to you and just saying, "Hey, like, here's what I have"?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I fortunately, I've been here with Ameriprise for 18 years, and we have a pretty big staff here at the office, and they're able to help me leverage my time. They do a lot of the operational type things where I can take time. Now, most financial planners that have been in business for 18 years, they're not looking for very many clients. They're already quite busy. They don't want to hire any more staff. They just kind of are happy with how things are. I'm 48 years old. I have big, giant goals for myself and my team and my clients. We continue to expand, hire new people to help out in the office. So I can see more people that way. About 9 out of 10 people that come in to see me for the first time really could probably do their own financial planning on their own with a little bit of help. And about 1 out of 10 persons, they're gonna want some help. They're willing to pay for it, and so they'll hire us for that. So I'm seeing as many of those 9 people as I can, so I can get engaged by that one person. And a lot of times they come back a few years later. I don't mind meeting with them every year for an hour. In fact, I've got some time for that. And when they're ready to outsource the chief financial officer position for the family, I'll interview for that job and see if it's a good fit for us. But until then, it's amazing in the old days before COVID, how many note cards I would get in the mail about, oh, we just had a meeting with our CPA and she was impressed with what we've done with our finances. And I was talking to my dad the other day and he said I was really smart because I did the Roth IRA and he said to tell you thank you. And I just love that. Now it's all email. People don't send cards anymore, but that's almost as good as money.
That's awesome. Well, your heart is in the right place, and it's always great to just collaborate with folks that are like mine. Okay, so I want to ask you this. So, if someone is on the verge of retirement, let's just say they have a year or two or three, wouldn't it make sense for them to talk to you and have you take a look at their assets before, or like when would you say would be a right time? Like, what would you recommend for someone on their way to retirement?
Well, the right time is normally yesterday, and why didn't you do it?
Mm,
That's how I feel. If you're going to start a diet, the right time was yesterday, and why didn't you do it? If you're going to become vegan, the right time was yesterday, and why didn't you do it? So we don't want people to get too far along. That I've had a couple of people come into me, see me after they've separated from service, from city, county, federal, or what have you, and they didn't take the ideal payout from their pension that they might have if they really knew everything that was possible and that sort of thing. So I tell people, hey, I'm not going to arm wrestle you into doing anything unhealthy. But the sooner you get in to talk to any local fee based financial planner, the more information you'll have for yourself. There's so many changes that you might do 3 years before retirement, especially if you're in public service, that you're just not going to know on your own. And I tell people, hey, get in there to see a financial planner somewhere because there's so much that you don't know. I mean, you're in the business of doing whatever it is that you do. You're not a financial planner. And I'm not saying I know everything, but after 18 years, I've seen a lot. And if I don't know what's going on, we'll get on the phone with your HR department or the 401k vendor or whatever, and we'll figure out what the question is all about. Because as I was talking to someone earlier today, she's ready to move on from this company that she's working at, and she's probably not going to want to work at another one. So, when do I separate? Because I don't think she'll ever make the kind of money she's making right now at anywhere else, because they love her and they think she's amazing. And it would take a while for her to get that kind of job again. So we have to time this exit, separation, and where the money is located before she separates really carefully, so that she feels confident moving forward with the family projects, because now it's going to be all about family.
Got you. Okay, well, so here's the thing. Start somewhere, like start yesterday. If you didn't start yesterday, start today. Mark, how do they get a hold of you if they have any questions?
Well, I'm easy to find on the internet. I'm the only Mark Porter financial planner in San Francisco. You'll probably find my website at Ameriprise, or you might see me on LinkedIn or what have you. My phone number, my cell phone number, is 415 Some people like email. They want to email back and forth for a while. It's mark.a.porter@ampf.com, MARK. And while we're talking about this, I want to mention, you said I have my heart's in the right place. I mean, gosh, what you did for one of our recent clients that was a first-time home buyer, going all over the county, looking at houses that you knew were probably not the right ones, but you had to get the client in the right place mentally, and you got that deal closed. And I've had some meetings with that client and also some friends of that client. And, they think they're going to buy a house in, I don't know, like Half Moon Bay or Burlingame or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you better talk to somebody who knows what's going on, and some places that are going to fit your budget. Because, the East Bay is happening, and there are some off market things, and there are some things you might get before the market, and you got to have a realtor that lives in that area. And for you to take this person, who, I'm serious, said, I am not buying a house, Mark. And I said, fine, we're not buying a house today. But what I want you to do today is talk to Ed Diaz about what you could do if you felt like you might want to buy a house. And then the next stop was you, and you went around, and gosh dang it, that just feels so good. I helped so many first-time home buyers
Thank
when I was a realtor helping them buy foreclosures. What you did for that client is really special. But you know what? You do it all the time.
It's fun. I love what I do, and the thing is, when someone says, I'm ready, I'm committed, or they want to plan, I would talk to people all the time when it comes to planning, just like you. You plan for someone's finances, whether they're ready now or not. They'll remember who you are, and when they're ready, they'll say, "Hey, Mark, I'm ready." Same thing with me, and yeah, but it's just like, is there any right time to start into real estate? I mean, you could say why it works for you, why it doesn't. But honestly, the ones that who have just taken the leap of faith in the past 20 years that I've been doing it has done well. I mean, I would say just make sure that you could afford the payments, and you have everything lined up. And whatever happens with the market, it goes up or it goes down. As long as you're not planning to sell in a couple years, you're okay. But if you plan to sell in a couple years, I would
Yeah.
say probably just wait, then figure out what your plan is, but don't buy because you can't guarantee it. But I love it. I just like how you love your job. I love it, and yeah, it's fun to
Yeah.
see these cool deals and get people in and great rates, and yeah. Thank you though. Thank you.
Yeah, and the the stock market and the real estate market are just a few of the casinos, if you will, where the consumer has more than 51% advantage if they can just wait long enough.
Hmm.
Someone who can wait long enough is not going to lose money in real estate,
Yep.
even if they bought in '07, right?
Oh
It
yeah,
was horrible for 4 years. Okay. Horrible for 4 years. But now they're selling for top dollar, aren't they?
they sure are. Yeah, and it's scary. It's never. It's people are always waiting for the bus. Everybody's waiting for this and that. But I could tell you, I just say I'm still looking. I'm looking. You know, you're looking, right? You're looking for new opportunities. I'm looking for new opportunities. It's just the numbers have to make sense. So here's the reason why Mark and I are doing this video. We want to talk about money. We want to talk about finances. We want to talk about strategy. It's not about saying you should do one or the other, but really just kind of like
Mhm.
have these open conversations and figure out what your plan is. Because folks who do not have a plan, nothing happens. And then 5 years will pass and you're at the same place or maybe worse. And maybe you could have just taken care of yourself, you know? So these are the reasons why we take the time to do some of these videos. So if you have any questions, like anything, Mark, the cool thing about Mark, he's down to earth. If you're just starting off, if you're well into your career, if you got, big dollars, he services everybody. So and he's always happy to have a conversation. You've never been too busy for me or all my questions or anybody that I know. So we're here for you guys. So please contact Mark. I contact him all the time if I have questions, and he's just been great. And we're here for you. We want you to do well.
We're in this together, folks. I mean, we're all in this together. We got to try to help each other out,
Yep.
and that's really what's going on. You know, if we can help someone do better or learn something they didn't know, that's awesome. If we can make some money at it, great. But if not, giving knowledge to somebody about something they didn't have before is really a great feeling inside.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mark, for always being so awesome and just always being of a place of giving and just appreciate all that you do for everybody and myself. Thank you.